Half-Shell Oyster House offers award-winning cuisine and service. Named TripAdvisor Best Top 10 Small Chains in the United States. Voted Best Seafood in Mississippi Magazine 8 times. You can enjoy award-winning oysters and seafood, delicious steaks, pastas, sandwiches, salads, and so much more in a unique, polished casual dining experience. Half-Shell Oyster House is located at 115 Laurel Park Cove, Suite 105, Flowood, Mississippi 39232. Or you can give them a call at 769-257-7586. And hey, tell them Sonya sent you.
She say sports. She say sports. She say sports. She say sports.
Hey, y'all, it's your girl Sonya, and welcome back to She Say Sports. Today I have with me the usual suspects. Please welcome former NFL players Cedric Donaldson and Jameion Spencer. Hey guys, how are you?
Hey, great. How you doing?
I am well. How was y'all Thanksgiving?
Wonderful. Need more of those days.
Yeah, we gotta, put it on a pound scale. It was a 10 to 15 pounder for me.
Well, Jameion did our turkey. Oh my gosh, baby, that
thumbs up, yay,
sir. It was gone by. They ate it, I think, by Saturday, because my sister was like, "Well, maybe we can make sandwiches later." She said, "Girl, all that turkey gone." I was like, "He did his job."
Yeah.
So, Jameion, you seem a little flushed. Everything okay?
Everything is wonderful,
Okay, I'm just checking. So you don't want to talk about what happened? Okay, great.
No, I cannot confirm nor deny my ability to be able to flabbergast and filibust my way through the legal system of street justice. Yes, no. I'd rather say thank you, Rankin County. I appreciate your graciousness. Thumbs up, baby. Hey, you're the best.
I'm gonna let it go.
Hey, so guys, I'm his friend if y'all see me at any point next year.
You said what?
And I'm his friend if they see me. Hey,
let me tell you about Cedric. So Cedric, now you didn't sleep last night. You noticed Cedric's eyes they're real low because he only had an hour and a half sleep. Why was that?
Oh yeah. Well, the storms came on through here, man, and my wife and my kids slept like they didn't even know what was happening. But we was in a 7-hour storm, this morning, man.
So it takes me back to when and Jameion, when Fred said, how mischievous Cedric was. I never knew this. I grew up Cedric, but I saw Cedric on a different side. We were church cousins. So now to find out that Cedric wasn't even in church, I said, I wonder why you didn't sleep well, because if he had been in church, he would have known that when the storm came on the boat, they said the water was like coming in the boat. Jesus was in the back, asleep, knocked out.
Yeah.
And they was like, "You don't care that we perish, Savior." So he was one of those disciples. So
I always thought they said he who was asleep gonna drown in the water.
They unaware, yeah.
That's because you were not in church.
He had to go get ready. Said had to make sure he could warn the troops. That's all it was,
He was not in church. Had he been in church, oh my gosh, had he been in church, he would have known peace was gonna be still. But I'm glad. No, seriously though, I'm glad y'all are well. Everybody is fine. The family is fine. So
yeah, man, we made it.
You made it. So great. So, well, you guys, it's a lot going on in the world of football. I mean, we got coach swapping, team swapping, college football playoff rankings, and championship games. So the list goes on, but we're gonna get started with that. So let's start with the playoffs. The top 4 teams in the playoff rankings are Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC, in that order. What do these rankings mean for seeding, location, and matchups? Jameion?
So I think this is the first year that really the playoff committee can really say that, okay, we have at least collected and gave everybody a fair shot at the table, right? A fair chance. Now we got Big 12 represented, we got Pac-10 represented, or Pac-12 represented. SEC is in there. So, all the usual suspects aren't necessarily in the mix in the conversation anymore, but it does, I think, offer more of a meaningful conversation around expansion, right?
Yeah.
Again, we talk about the 4 teams, but if we really want to get into this thing and make it interesting, expand to that 6-8 game format or 18 format, and then we can maybe understand it. I think based on what we've seen this year, I think they got it correct from a record perspective. Do I think that those 4 teams are the best 4 teams in the land? Yeah, probably not. But at the same time, I think that they've done their job, and as a result, they've been rewarded.
Yeah.
Sad.
That's how I feel, man. I think it's right. You got some 2-loss teams in the back here knocking, talking about they deserve to be in, and they probably are a better team head to head. But with the rules that's set up now, it is the way it is. Like even if LSU had a 1 last week, 2-loss team going in, playing Georgia, you beat Georgia. I don't know, man. I don't know if they would have won. They was good enough to win in the actual 4-team tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you could luck up and beat Georgia and get beat to sleep next week by TCU. And
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I think they got it right for right now.
Yeah. I think the one thing that really is going to, I think, sour, or we really need to start looking at is even now, are the championship games even relevant anymore?
Yeah.
Right. At this point, it's a moot point. Who cares about who's the SEC, Pac-10, Pac-12 champion is at this point? Because really, you're going to go in, potentially risk, having your best games put forth in front of you, because you're going to be playing the extra game that everybody else won't, right? So, it really kind of makes you look at the championship games now and say, who cares, right? So
yeah, because think of this: like you playing a 13th game in the championship game, other teams played 12.
Mm-hmm.
If you happen to lose, well, the team that didn't play goes to a better ball game.
Yep.
That's true.
I.e. Alabama a few years ago. Yeah.
So that's kind of crazy. So
yep.
That's true. So speaking of TCU, I'm digging this team this season. Mm-hmm. Is it a shocker to either of you as far as them being in the top 4?
Nah. I think TCU has been a team and a school that has really been loaded with a ton of talent. Probably hasn't played up to its full potential for quite some time, but I think it's been extremely dangerous for a ton of years. I mean, they have had a lot of athletes come through there. They've had some very good teams and some very good players that could light it up on both sides of the ball. So I think if you've ever watched college football and you've watched TCU play, you know that is a very tough, proud program that really does its best to put forth their athletes, and they've done historically a very good job. So I'm not surprised by TCU at all.
Yeah. The only surprise I have with them is normally with Gary Patterson, who was their coach last year before he stepped down. He used to win with defense, and he would come out there and put a defense on you. But now with Sonny Dykes, TCU, they putting the hammer on you with offense, and they're still doing all right with defense too. But it's an offensive team, especially with the quarterback just making it happen every week, man.
Oh, Duggan has been good.
Yeah, kid is a ball.
So, who do you see winning it all in January?
Ooh. If the playoffs started today, I think, and again, I'm looking at the pairings, but I think it comes down to Michigan and TCU, in my opinion. I think because from an offensive perspective, both of them run the ball very well, and I think at that point you're doing it with multiple running backs. And that always is a recipe for wearing a team down for the most part. And the more snaps you can get on them and the more hits you can put on people, I mean, it's all about who has the ball last at that point. But I do think it would come down to those two teams.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sid?
I would say if this is the best year for somebody outside the SEC to win. Like, this is the year they need to take advantage of. Georgia is a solid team, man, but they're not. Like, I don't see them. I guess we comparing them to last year's team. Last year's team is crazy.
They're great, yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to see Georgia and Michigan play. I think if TCU has to play Georgia or Michigan, I don't know. I think they're gonna beat TCU up, man. Like, because both of them, gonna pound. TCU is gonna pound too, and I think Georgia and Michigan will end up playing each other for the title game.
Okay.
And I'm probably going with Michigan, man.
Michigan? Okay. Yeah, that was a good game this past weekend. I'm a TCU girl because I lived in Dallas, except when they beat Jackson State to sleep in 2017. But I mean, totally different conferences. So I mean, that's understandable. I mean, it was like 48-0, I think. Embarrassing, but hey, it is what it is. We're gonna move right along. Speaking of SEC, I love uplifting stories, and especially the story about former Auburn football star, interim head coach Cadilac Williams. It makes me smile. These last 4 weeks, he has just been, and he's probably been like amazing the whole time, but he was like on a national platform, so we really saw him. His first game out, they beat Texas A&M 13-10. They make it to the Iron Bowl, however they got defeated. And as we know, he became the interim coach. Brian Harsin was fired as Auburn's head coach at the end of October. So the opportunity came, and the kids love him. He's a former player already. He was a running back coach since 2019, so it made sense for them to make him interim. What are your thoughts on his stint as coach, and how bright do you feel his future is? Jameion?
I thought watching Cadillac on the sideline was a very good reminder as to why you fall in love with college football. I saw his passion. I saw how much he cared. It was almost to the point where you really, really, really wanted to see them just beat the brakes off people. Because I really felt like he was pouring everything he knew into it, and he loved that school, right? And you can see it. And I think from an administrative perspective, not to make him the guy, I think is probably the biggest miss of all of this probably hiring season that we're going to go through. And no knock on Hugh Freeze, but I'm not that as impressed, and I don't think he's emotionally vested in Auburn as Cadillac is. And if I'm a recruit and looking at that dude on the sideline, that would make me want to go run through a wall for him. And I think that, that administration missed by not taking that opportunity to make him whole, because you could tell, man, he was in it, and I was in it with him. I enjoyed watching it.
Yeah.
Me too.
Hey, I was torn, because being in Alabama, seeing it every day, he did everything that he was supposed to do. I mean, he inspired a team that was dead, like literally dead. And he came and they was playing like way above their head. But just take it back to being Cadillac, right? Like, you Cadillac Williams, you're Auburn's all-time, rusher, whatever. You become a interim coach. You had a good time or whatever. But when they make you the head coach, you're in the league with Nick Saban, Lane Kiffin, Brian Kelly, Mike Leach, Pittman, whatever. If you don't win fast, and not like win, you can't win 8 games at Auburn and they're gonna be happy. They just fired man for 8-4. you got to win games. And so if they would have made him coach and he would have had a couple 8-4 seasons, yeah, I think that would have diminished his legacy at Auburn. What I would like him to do, though, he's proven that he can lead a team. I would love for him to go to a Troy or somewhere, because he did one thing, man, in the Mississippi State game when he burned all 3 of those timeouts on the field goal. You remember that?
Yeah.
That's a young coach.
Yeah, that's experience. Yeah.
That's experience. And I would hate for him to do something like that and tarnish his legacy. I think he deserved a head coaching job. I'm just happy for him that, you know, he's gonna get it now. Somebody's gonna come get him, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. He's about to get it.
But let me ask you this. So knowing that you're in the league with, you know, the Sabins and the Kellys, and I never felt like looking at him that he believed that he wasn't going to win either, right?
Yeah.
You know, and I think that carries a lot, you know, because some of these guys, they walk into some of these games and they're like, oh my God, I got to go play Nick this week, right? Look, I felt like, look, he was ready to strap up himself and get out there and get with it, you know. And I think that type of confidence is contagious. And, you know, and when you're the tip of the sword and you believe it, hey, anybody that's trailing behind, you gotta believe it.
I believed it.
Yeah.
I believed it. I mean, I'm like you, it was so contagious. I was just like, and like I said, I'm sure he's been that guy before the world knew his name 4 weeks ago. Because you know, he was popular, but a lot of people didn't know who he was. You know who he is now because it was just like amazing just watching him coach those kids. I enjoyed it.
I mean, he brought a lot of passion to it. I mean, a ton. And I know the quarterback's mom at Robbie Ashford. I know his mom over here in Birmingham. And man, his play just, and he did nothing different. I mean, he was that player when the other guy was there. But Cadillac instilled this confidence in him to where he was out there like a madman, just running through people, dropping dimes, you know, everything. So, you know, I believe it, man. I wouldn't have been mad if he got it. I just didn't want him to tarnish what he has, because they would turn on him. Like, for real.
Yeah, we know. So we know. So earlier this week, they hired Hugh Freeze as head coach at Auburn, and he kept Coach Lack, and he will remain with Auburn as an associate head coach. You know, this is not Hugh Freeze's first time in the SEC. As you know, Coach Free resigned prior to the start of 2017 season after it was found that he placed multiple calls to numbers associated with an escort service, and Ole Miss was later handed a 2-year bowl ban. Wow. Jamie,
where's Charles Barkley when you need him? Make a comment.
Why do you think another SEC is taking a chance on Hugh Freeze? Say it.
Oh, it's all about winning. Like, it don't. Let me say you something crazy. So last spring, they made up a lie at Auburn that the head coach was having an affair with the lady that was on the staff or whatever, and try to fire him, right? And then they fire him, and they bring in Hugh Freeze, who's essentially having an affair on his wife, and they hire him. And
do you have, okay? And I want Jameion to answer what I just asked the question. But do you think the cultures are different? Because when they hired former Baylor coach Art at Grambling, them fans got him out of there within a week. The fans and social media went crazy. So is it a culture difference? Because, or is it just, you know, what are your thoughts on that?
I think Art Browse was different. Art was
How? I mean, it was sexual assault.
Yeah, it's a different animal. Art was they said he was allowing his players to sexually assault people, you know.
I did. Yeah, you're right. And he was doing this with himself, with the escorts.
Yeah,
And
he
as
was
far
doing
as we
his,
know,
yeah,
as
he
far
was
as we
doing
know,
his,
he probably
yeah,
was getting it for the kids too. So
he probably was, but I mean, they want to assaulting the kids. The kids is happy for it if it happened to the kids that he was doing it for. You know, so they weren't gonna be the one to tell on him. But Art had, you know, you send your daughter to school, especially Baylor, and stuff like that is happening under his watch. You know, it's a different thing. But I thought Art would have been cool for Grambling. I didn't have a problem with Art being at Grambling because he wasn't the head coach.
true. I get what you're saying, but our girls are, you know, our Black girls are important too. So I guess the parents were like, you know, why y'all bringing this dude over here? You know, what he gonna have our guys, you know, doing this too? I don't know. But everybody was angry about it, and he was out of there within a week.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think, you know, I completely agree with the Grambling Nation, right? On a situation like Art Browse, it becomes a level of morality and integrity that you have to carry, right? You know, we talked about this probably last year, but we look at our coaches a lot of times as leaders. All right, these are the people that you're entrusting your children with, as a leader, as a second father, as a second type of a person who is going to have some level of morality and accountability in it. You know, I think the problem I have with Art Browse and even Hugh Freeze is that there's no level of accountability, right?
Correct.
You know, there's nothing there being held with these guys that, you know, again, are allowed to do things, probably always have done them, but you got caught. And then, you know, you go away for a year or two out of spotlight, and then you're right back, you know, in the mix, right? In my opinion, what have you done to earn that right back? What have you done to truly justify and make that correct in your world, right? You know, we know that from a morality perspective, yeah, you got to answer to your maker on that one. But from an accountability perspective, I think that Auburn has all the power in the world and the obligation to those kids, you know, football, basketball, anybody else, but you've got an obligation to those kids to set an example. If you're going to, again, fire one guy for, you know, having those allegations, don't hire the same dude, right? You know, don't hire the same exact guy with a different name. It just doesn't leave a very good message, you know.
Really
so
doesn't.
yeah.
That's true. That's true. Well, there was something else I was gonna ask, but I can't remember now. So
Hugh Freeze had the one thing on his resume that then nobody else have on their resume when they were looking to hire him, and that's that he beat Nick Saban twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
true. And
Yeah.
that made the difference. You know, I remember what I was gonna say now. Because you said what have they done to prove that they've changed or whatever. I don't like this cancel culture because, and you know, like if somebody does something, the society, you know, of course, internet is saying, you know, you need to apologize, blah, blah, blah. So when a person apologizes, and I guess it's on different levels, it depends on what it is, on what you're apologizing for. But do y'all believe in cancel culture? I mean, does a person have to be canceled completely for the rest of their lives? Like, I don't like Hugh Freeze as a person. He's a good coach, but how long he's been gone since 2017 out of the SEC. But how long does a person have to be forgiven before they can?
I don't believe in the cancel culture at all. As a matter of fact, I even hate it when people sit up there and make you say you got to apologize, right? You are who you are. You know who you are. I mean, and the thing about it is that it's no surprise to anybody when, you know, people mess up. People are going to mess up. They're going to make mistakes. Right. You own up to it. But it does become a different conversation when we talk about it's about what you do, right? I mean, I tell my sons, look, I don't want to hear I'm sorry. I want to hear how you're going to get better, right? I want to know what you're doing that's going to change if you're truly want to change that behavior, right? Be who you are, but at the same time, when you're in certain situations, you have to be cognizant of what you're dealing with as well, who you're jumping in bed with, who you're jumping in a partnership with. Matters. It matters to a lot of people. And, you know, again, if I'm leading a group of young men, there are life lessons that are learned in those short 3 to 4 years that are going to carry and pay dividends for the next 30 or 40 years of those kids' life, you know? So, you know, we got to be, I think we have to be extremely careful when we do that. Look, I know everybody wants to win and wants to put down, but I have to ask myself truly, okay, Hugh went to Liberty. What has Liberty done? If, you know, if he's such a good coach and this is our guy, what has he done to make that splash? Or was it a matter of just tucking them away, go in exile for a few years, come back, and then all is forgiven, right?
That's exactly, number two, that's exactly what happened.
Yeah, no,
Go in
so
exile. And that's what Browse thought he was gonna do too, go in exile for a minute. Then he go to a high school or something and.
yeah. He went to his son or grandson's high school and, you know, couldn't tell you what they did either.
Browse is 100. If Browse was young,
You
and
know
did what
what?
he did, for real, if he was a young coach and did what he did, they'll find him somewhere to be right now.
Oh yeah, now you have a point. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
It's, I guess,
Ageism is working against him right now. But yeah, I don't believe in cancel culture at all. I really believe like stuff like that need to happen. You know, because that's what a lesson is. A lot of people, like I got friends, like they're not married. And they are like, man, I can't find a good man. I met this dude, but he had cheated on his wife in the first marriage. That's probably the one you want to deal with. According to how he, you know, you need to find out how he bounced back from that or what happened in that, because he probably learned his lesson.
What he learned. Yeah.
well, you know what? And it depends on the person, because if that's a character flaw where he's a habitual cheater, then no, that's not her guy. If it just happened and the wife was like, I'm done. I mean, because like Jamie said, we're human, not condoning cheating, but it does happen. It happened in marriages all the time. However, but if he's a habitual cheater, no, beat it, kid. And that's where communication comes in. You know, why did y'all divorce? Why do you think you cheated? You know, and, you know, having conversations. So,
Like
yeah, I totally.
when we started the conversation off and we was talking about church, with me, if I'm at a church and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to a preacher and he's lived the perfect life and it's hard for him to reach me, because I'm like, well, bro, you're not struggling with the same stuff I'm struggling with. You know what I mean? But
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
But if there's somebody that been through it and I done seen them go through the process, change their life, now I'm looking at him like he got my full attention, because I feel like, you know, it relates. So as far as like coaches, man, you as a young guy, man, you looking up to these people, right? And you trying to look at how they bounce back. Like if Hugh went out there and got hit away and just brought him back, and he get there and he started doing the same thing, these kids gonna be like, you know, another situation. I'll talk about this later, but these kids are watching Prime right now. They're
The world is watching Prime.
Yeah. And these kids watching them. Now he said some stuff that, you know, and so don't nobody want to talk about this, but it's some eyes on Prime and they want to see what he's gonna do. And it's not wrong if he decide to leave. It's not, you know, but it's gonna be consequences one way or the other. So
That's true. And, you know, I was not going to bring any of that up because us Tigers, we got to stay focused. We got a game Saturday. We're going to talk about that later. You know, I don't want to hear all, you know, I'm tired of people sending me satire, news things, you know.
Yes, you say they're coming for you. That's all I heard.
I'm sick of it. But yeah, there are going to be consequences, because some people have been, well, I thought he said God told him. God did tell him to come. Do you see what the heck this man has done in 1 week during homecoming? We were on 60 Minutes, Good Morning America, and in Times Square in 1 week. That has never happened at JSU or any other SWAC school. So yeah, he's made some, if he leaves today, he's done amazing. I thank God for him. He has opened doors for Jackson State and for the SWAC and other HBCU schools that has never opened for us. So I'm good with that. However, you know, they're like, well, how you gonna leave, you know, these kids? You was like, blah, blah, blah. You know, he has to still live his life. I'm happy. I don't want him to go. I'm gonna cry. Oh, I'm gonna cry, big time. Oh God. So I'm gonna cry. However, I'm thankful for him for what he's done. It's, you know, we gotta stay focused because we cannot. I don't want to talk about what's happening December 3rd. We'll talk about that later because I'm about to get into that. But what were you about to say about it, Sid, regarding crime?
I'm just saying it's the reasons why he said he was here and the reasons why he told kids why they should come here. He's proved this point. He proved that their ice is no better with the right person. Their ice is no better than our ice.
That's true.
But then,
so, because if he proves that, then if he leaves to go to their ice water, he's wrong.
Maybe the ice is better. You know,
well, maybe it's just more ice. How about that?
Yeah.
You know,
it's more ice.
I mean, you know,
yeah.
But even though I think he would do well wherever he goes. I think he should stay at HBCU schools. That's how I just feel, because that's just how I feel, Jameion. I know. Come on in.
Okay, so I'm gonna double dutch in. I'm gonna double dutch in on this one. Okay. When he first came on and we were talking about this, you know, we talked about, are the HBCUs ready? Right? Are they ready for the big show?
You asked that question before.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The one thing we have to realize is that he has now not only opened the door, but he's exposed a nerve that we've all known about, again, how we run our HBCUs, you know, the decisions we make. When he leaves, one thing you have to realize is that he's making that decision and he's helping a lot of other people, a lot of other coaches too, to be able to pave their way. Because again, now that they're there with him, you know, we know what he's making, and you got to imagine those guys are only making a fraction of that, right? Yeah. You know, so him getting a better job does nothing but help elevate them as well, right? If not, open up some other opportunities for them. So, you know, when we talk about the business of it all, hopefully we've taken notes this whole time and maybe try to stockpile some things. You know, look, collect those spades in your hand while you can, because guess what? When that big joker goes down, it's going to be wide open at that point. And we as an HBCU administration are going to have to be ready with all those contingency plans, because those are big shoes to fill. But hopefully we've had a chance to cultivate an environment and a culture of who's next, right? Who's going to help be able to take this torch on and be able to take that business aspect of it and roll it into the next generation post-prime, right? You got to be ready for that. You got to be ready for that.
And well, our AD, he's very calculated and very smart. And I know if he is planning on leaving, he has something lined up. What? We don't know, but I guarantee he has something lined up if he is leaving soon.
Hey, the state of Mississippi, the city of Jackson, Flowood, Pearl, Brandon, Madison, Ridgeland, Clinton, if those mayors are not in a room right now sitting together and be like, hey, we need to put this money together. We can't let this cat leave, not because of money, you know, because
it's not about, I mean, and that's a small fraction to let this man go because of money. Because in this one Saturday, you know, $6 million is going to Jackson this week, and he's been here, they had 4 games, so, you know, let's just say 30 million this year. You know, I mean, 8 million, you can slide that over there to him.
and keep him for some more years, that's a good investment. If you can give 8 and get back 30, you know.
Yeah, and when the last time Jamie was on the show with Rodney, we talked about that. As you know, when you brought up the mayors, if he ran for mayor, he would win because this city believes in him, and he has brought a beacon of light. And he's not just trying to help Jackson State or the SWAC, he's trying to help this city. And that's where a lot of people are missing it. I'm like, it's not about, I get the beef, you know, we talk noise, but y'all, this is bigger than the beef. This is so much bigger than what people are, you know, they only see what's in front of them. This is so much bigger. And I hate that. Sometimes I feel like, well, we are our worst enemy sometimes, Black people, we are. And we always do, you know, backward stuff like this. I want him to go, they want him to go to a white school because they want Jackson State to lose. I'm like, this is so stupid. He is helping Black kids, man. Huh?
I told them they're gonna be playing on the cooking channel next week.
Do you like the foolishness?
Hey, I
have to snooze roughing the SWAC and all those other sometimes because it's too much.
I am excited about this one thing, and I hope he stays. Like, I don't want him to go nowhere. Yeah. But if you do decide to leave, the Who Is SWAC remix gonna be like the ether. It's gonna be out.
Oh my gosh, I love it. You know what? You a mess. We're moving on. So earlier today, you know, I was busy and I got an ESPN alert saying, I was like, oh my God, Lamar Jackson going to Broncos. But it wasn't the quarterback, it was the cornerback, Lamar Jackson. I'm gonna roll with the story though, because he was a Bear. But we got news today that cornerback Lamar Jackson has been signed to the practice squad of the Denver Broncos. And in order for them to make room for Jackson, they released wide receiver Caden Davis and running back Tyreek McAllister from the practice squad on Tuesday. The Broncos will play the Broncos will play Baltimore Ravens on Sunday. He's played 19 career regular season games with the New York Jets in 2020, your old team, Cedric, 2021, and your other old team, Chicago Bears, 2022. Are the Broncos a good fit for Lamar? Sid?
Man, I remember the kid when he was with the Jets. And the Broncos need all the help they can get. So, yeah. But if you were surprised when that came across, just imagine how the defense of the Broncos.
What?
Like,
why?
I was completely thrown off. And then I screenshotted it and I was like, oh, this is the quarterback. I was like, thank God. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they need all the help they can get, man. But yeah. I'm sure the Broncos defense really was hoping it was the real Lamar Jackson.
Don't say the real Lamar Jackson.
Hey man, when you named after, look, whoever got the biggest name is the real, you know.
Right.
Yeah, but he'll be all right on that. They need all the help they can get.
Yeah. Jay?
Yeah, they do. But I think, you know, if I'm a Denver Broncos fan, look, I'm not looking for cornerbacks. Look, I need some we need some other things on the other side of the ball. You know, right. I mean, I got the, you know, $500 million man that, you know, they for whatever reason, I don't understand why they won't let this man play. You know, we you know, as much as we love Russell, it's an adjustment period. We're in that honeymoon.
I mean, it's an adjustment period.
Yeah, but here are the things, the simple things, I think, you know, which, you know, is all about football and coaching and making adjustments. But, you know, a 5'11", 6 foot quarterback dropping straight back, there's only been a handful of those in the history of the game, right? Russ ain't one of them. You got to be able to move the pocket, half rolls, give him on some naked boots to let him do his work, to let him do his job. You know, we talk about all the time making those comfort throws and everything else to get these guys into a rhythm. I can't even see Russ getting into a rhythm right now. You know, you see some flashes of it, but I mean, it's strictly, you know, 3-5 step drop, hitch, and boom. I mean, and it's so not him to the point where it looks painful at this point, and I think that, somebody needs to grab this OC, be like, hey, you need to move this dude out on the corner. You need to get him some halfway decent running backs to at least get a threat of a play action to where he can really become back comfortable with who he is.
Right.
And get those guys understanding that, look, he's got the receivers. They've got a squad of receivers. But these guys got to get on the same page and got to understand that, look, until we get like that Patty Mahomes and Travis Kelce type wavelength, we really not gonna do a whole lot. So
That's true.
Hey, his dad from Jackson, Cortland Sutton dad is from Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So he grew up in the neighborhood with us, and then he ended up going to Jim Hill. Yeah, I think he went to Jim Hill. And then,
Really? Okay.
yeah. But he's down on the coast now, so if you ever want to get him on, I'll get you his contact.
So you said the man, he got it all.
California kid, man. He moved from California here. So if a kid moved from California to Jackson, Mississippi, he's unforgettable in elementary school because he talked way different than everybody. So yeah, but that's his name, the California kid.
Oh, I know y'all gave him crap.
He was crazy though. He fit right in. He came down.
So yeah, well, we'll see how it goes for Lamar. And I'm going to talk about this story until Jameion, what they need to do.
Lock him up. Lock him up.
I'm going to talk about this story every show until they lock Brett Favre and former Governor Bryant. What's his name? Yeah, former Governor Bryant up.
Bill Bryant.
Brett Favre files. This was on Monday. He filed motion to dismiss lawsuit in Mississippi welfare fraud case. His attorney is saying he had no control of how the state of Mississippi spent welfare funds. Favre was sued in May by the state welfare agency after he received $1.1 million in federal welfare funds intended to lift children out of poverty in the poorest state in America. Instead of helping families, the state says Favre was paid to speak at 3 different public events and 1 keynote address, but it was no speech ever occurred. Now, Favre advises that he gave the money back. I do remember him giving some money back. He said he paid all the money back, and pretty much he said that they should sue themselves. What are your thoughts?
Well, you know what? I agree with Brett. Right? Everybody wants to enjoy the homeboy hookup. You know what I mean? And the thing about it, he had the homeboy hookup. What better life than there is to be able to, book me for a gig and I not show and you still pay me, right? Morally, I couldn't do that. I mean, because if I'm taking that, you got to be able to ask yourself. I'm not used to people giving me anything, right? Unless that becomes a way of life. Where the funds came from and everything else, I completely understand that he didn't know, right? But he knew who he was dealing with as well, and he knew that a lot of these guys weren't necessarily doing this stuff out of the goodness of their heart either. So, I think it would have been forced me to ask a few more questions. And even knowing what you know now, I think, the level of remorse, the level of just decency. Brett, I really wanted him to step up. And I've been a Brett Favre fan for a long time, but the tail end of his career and even now, it just makes me look at him just like, another one of those individuals that you just, no integrity, no respect. Man, go kill yourself at this point. I can't say that, but it upsets you.
No, we just lock him up. No.
Yeah, I know. But but I mean, he had the whole. He was the recipient of the homeboy hookup. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that's still. I'm still. So if you didn't know who was giving you the money, then why were you texting and questioning? Did they know that? It doesn't make any sense to me. And
well, I think once you found out, I think, even if we go back, a lot of this stuff started to come out, be like, hey, did you realize as people started going down and you realize some of these names around you are part of this scheme, and then you start putting two and two together, maybe then you start asking some questions, right? But again, when you know, yeah, well, but the thing about it, if I know that, look, I'm supposed to be in 2 and 3 different places and I'm just getting money filtered into me, go do it. Go do it, man. That stuff doesn't take any of your time, any of your effort. Look, Brett Favre is like a rock star, has always been. He could probably go there and just recite the ABCs and get a standing ovation, right? I mean, it's people are wanted to be associated with him because of who he was and the person he presented himself to be. And I always thought, he was that person who was filled with a level of decency. Yeah, man, he look, country boy, look, down home dude, but at the same time, he had some level of respectability up until a lot of this stuff has happened.
Yeah.
But how can I say it? His time with the Jets is when I kind of lost respect for him. I remember going to camps with him when I was a kid, and he was at Southern Miss, and he was back then. I mean, I guess a lot of people really didn't know him then, but he was still like, a big name. But once I heard what he did with the Jets when he was sending the pics to the people or whatever, I'm like, dude, something's wrong with this guy. So then you get to this and you be like, all right, then, So I never expected him to come out, because if it was me, and even though I was getting a homeboy hookup, and then I found out that my boy was taking money from the welfare fund, and I'm around here, I would be so embarrassed. First of all, I'll be profusely apologizing to everybody I can do. I'll get the money back.
I'll never ever apologize for anything.
Yeah. I would have been on a campaign outside of schools, handing out, picking paper, anything to try to do more.
And instead of, not to cut you off, but you just made a valid point. Instead of him giving the money back, he could have just went on and be like, well, can you set something up where I can go, do some speaking engagements? Why didn't you even just do the speaking engagements? I mean,
it wasn't important. It wasn't important.
He had never planned to do it. Like, it was never. Like, if I planned to do something, you was gonna pay me, and I didn't do it, and you still sent the money, it would kill me. Like, until I went and did it, But this same guy that sent the DPs to the people in to the people with the Jets, man. So once you get that in your head, he'll do anything.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Jameion, he said, once you get that in your head, he'll do anything.
Do anything, yeah.
So it's all about character. I get it. Yeah. So real quick, I'm gonna start with Jameion. You don't have to go into, unless you want to, but who are your top 5 teams in the AFC and the NFC?
Ooh. All right. So AFC. I'm still rock with Buffalo, my number one. I still love them. They're on a little rough, patch, but I think they're gonna come through that. Kansas City, Miami. Miami's hot. Look,
they are.
We can say what we want. Miami's rolling, man. They are rolling. Mm-hmm. San Diego's still on my radar. Okay. And the last one, as much as you want to sit up there and say, man, I don't know who I would put in my number 5, because after that it kind of opens. It's wide open for the most part. Yeah, I don't know who I would put in my number 5.
I'll put my number 5 is gonna be because we got, well, besides San Diego, I don't know if I would go with San Diego. I mean, they still, I don't know. I would put the Bengals as my number 5. I'll put
okay. NFC.
So you got to go with one. I know you got to, put the Cowboys in there. One thing. We ain't gonna win it. I know December is approaching and we're gonna lose everything.
It's like a curse. I don't understand.
Yeah, but you know, Philly, the Cowboys, who else? Minnesota. You know what? I didn't know Minnesota was doing that well. Like they were just under the radar, just beating
They
people.
really,
For a while. Who else on the the 49ers? Yeah. Even though it hurt me to say that, man, but the 49ers.
You got one more.
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah. Who else, man? On the NFC. But you know, I hate to say this because my little brother gonna be all hype and stuff, man. And I hate to put three teams, you know, but the Redskins, man, the Redskins, they trying to put it together, man, with old Heineken, man.
That's what I was waiting. I was like, is he gonna say it?
Yeah, man. But it's three. I ain't want to put three teams from the NFC East and that.
You know, they're not called the Redskins anymore.
I mean, the presidential
Commanders.
They're not presidential.
The Commanders. I should call them by their real name, the Deadskins, but
I was waiting. Okay, Jamie, what you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Philly. Philly is at the top for me. Love the way they're playing. Put Cowboys number 2, San Francisco 3, Minnesota 4. I'm still not a Kirk Cousins believer, but you know, I'll put him in there. Yeah, and that 5th spot.
Come on, say it.
Actually, I just thought about my other AFC team that I was thinking of, but you know, anyhow, the NFC.
you would have the Giants or the
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd have to come out that East. So you beat Giants or the Redskins, and really, I like the way the Giants are playing right now. Saquon is rolling. You know, Daniel Jones ain't having to do as much, but you can see he's processing. So, yeah, I gotta lean toward the Commanders at this point. You know, because I mean, like we said, their defense is really starting to put their staple on some games.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got a phenomenal defense potential wise, and Heineke's out there just playing for broke, and I love it, man. He's pulling the trigger on everything. So it's so there, yeah.
Okay. Well, the Bears is top 5 for all AFC and NFC for me. Both whatever. I'm believing.
I like your passion.
No, they don't. Yeah, they do. So earlier we got to talking about Prime, but this Saturday, December 3rd, my Tigers were playing in the championship game, SWAC championship game against Southern Jaguars at 3:00 at the Vet. The Tigers beat the brakes off the Southern Jaguars 35-0 in October in regular season. And my question to you is, because you know, is this question has been floating around a lot. This statement has been floating around a lot this week from Coach Dooley, from fans. Is it difficult to beat a team twice in one season?
Absolutely.
Okay, well, Jamie, go ahead.
Absolutely. I don't care what nobody say. It is very hard to beat a team twice because, you know, it's like having live film session. You know what you do well, you don't do well. You know where you messed up, right? And even when conditions are it's just a different feeling. When you see each other for the first time, you know, you have some level of energy that's there, but you know, after that, you know, it's a matter of, okay, when you got to do it all over again for a second time, hey, it could be up in there. Anything could happen at that point.
Yeah,
that's true. Say it.
Hey, we live in proof, man. Jameion came to LSU and beat the brakes off us, and then we had to play them in a bowl game.
But
and they beat the brakes off us.
Jameion was hurt too, though.
No, this was college.
Oh, college.
This is college.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So
college, we played LSU late, and then had to go and turn around and play them in the bowl, and yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, cats got you. They know your tendencies, you know, and the person that it's like the hungry person. The hungrier person, if you get into a fight, they're gonna kill you. And the person that lost is a hungrier person. but they don't want to feel that feeling again. And so,
before I ask you this, remember Travis Hunter didn't play in that game last month.
Yeah.
So who takes it all, and by how many points? Cedric?
I think Jackson State is still gonna win because I got Celebration Bowl tickets.
Everybody.
But I think it's gonna be close though. I don't think it's gonna be a blowout. Yeah.
So I mean, what you think?
I say
Points.
28, 17, 28, 21.
Okay. Jameion?
Yeah, I was gonna say more like a 21-17 game. I don't think I think Southern has a lot better team than we know. And like you say, defensively, they've always shown up. And last time they played in the rain and all the other things that happened. Believe me, they're looking at this game and saying, hey, this is the do-over, right? So believe me, they're gonna have a little bit longer cleats, they're gonna have a little bit tighter jersey, and it's gonna be a battle, but I don't think it's gonna be a big blowout like it was before.
But you think Jackson State 21-17?
Yeah, I think Jackson State will still pull it out.
And it's gonna be tough too, man, with all this stuff going around. And I know Prime said, he's been but his team hadn't. I mean, most of his players, they've never experienced this type of scrutiny. And they hear, they're listening. And Monday is the
transfer
portal day. And if he leave, some of them like, hey, where am I going? Am I
if he leave, most of them kids are trying to go with him, first of all.
Yeah. If he can take them. You know what I mean? So it's a lot going on. But
there's a lot going on. Yeah.
Hopefully he addressed the team and they're focused, and my Celebration Bowl tickets will go to good use.
Absolutely. I mean, we got to get out of here. I got to get on the road. So guys, thank you so much for joining me today. But we have to do, you can get with this or you can get with that. And what that is a way for the listeners and myself to get to know the guests better. I'll ask you a few questions and you choose the one that best fits you. Kind of like Christmas questions today. Decorations up before Thanksgiving or after?
After. Gotta respect Thanksgiving.
So do you do it Thanksgiving Day or like how long?
Oh yeah, I pretty much I get held hostage until it all gets done, so.
On Thanksgiving Day?
On Thanksgiving Day, I'm pretty much, starting in.
I used to be that guy. I used to put them like after, but now I want to put them up like the 1st of November because
really?
I need more time in between putting up and taking down.
And taking it down. So you need that.
I need about 2 months. So, because I hate that.
I like it. Well, yeah, I'm after Thanksgiving. Yeah. And I still, what's so funny, I mean, I have the tree up, but I ain't got everything on there yet. So I'm planning on this. I'm tired. So anyway, do you prefer Christmas? Do you have your Christmas shopping done, or you gonna do it the day before?
Oh, all the way up to last minute. Yeah.
The day before, and then I don't feel as bad when I don't get people that I forget stuff. I'm like, bro, you should have said something 2 weeks ago.
You are horrible. I don't do the day before, but I'll start like this week. I'll start now so I can get some things. And it's, I'm just doing immediate family. And my girls, we're having like a little Christmas thing on the 22nd over at my house. So, white elephant gifts, we're going to do that. But that's it. Yeah, I'm not buying a whole bunch of people's stuff. Apple cider or eggnog?
Eggnog. I'm about to go eggnog, especially spiked.
Yes. I was about to say, do you add something to your eggnog?
Yeah, you gotta spike it. Yeah, you gotta spike it.
Now that you're saying spiked eggnog, I'm definitely.
Oh, that's what you wanted me to say.
I was wondering in my head, is she going to spike or?
I used to like it when I was little. I haven't drank it in years, but I love apple cider. Oh my gosh. It is amazing. But who knows? I may try it this year. Do you prefer giving or receiving?
Oh, give it.
Yeah.
Give it.
I'm an uncomfortable receiver.
Really?
Yeah.
Don't know what to say. Don't know how to react. You know,
Now, Jameion,
like
you
Ricky
are like
Bobby,
that.
my hands just be up here.
Now that's true. I didn't know that about you, said, but Jameion he's very uncomfortable receiving.
Yeah.
Very.
Nah.
We try to do stuff in for his birthday. I mean, he'd be like, "Look on Facebook, your birthday today. Hey, I got 4 meetings. Bye." I was like, "I wanted to take you out."
I don't know what that is, man, but I've been that way. Forever.
Oh, I give, but I love receiving. Is it a girl thing? 'Cause I'm like, "Oh my God."
Nah.
No, okay. Just
I be
me.
happy. You know, I love if you give me something like I cherish it. Like you give me socks or whatever. I love it. It's nothing that you can give me that I'm not gonna accept or be mad about. But I just don't feel right about accepting.
I just don't feel right.
Yeah.
I do. For Christmas, are you guys gonna do traditional Christmas dinner or whatever?
I mean, traditional like gumbo.
No, I'm talking about like you just had this past week, dressing, turkey. That's traditional.
Nah, we at home.
So y'all have seafood and stuff like that.
We do like fish and gumbo and stuff like that.
Jay?
I don't think we can really decide, so I think we're gonna end up doing everything. So
So you're gonna have traditional
and unconditional. Yeah, we do it all.
Whatever okay.
We might end up with like sushi and turkey all at the same table. Who knows?
Yeah.
So JT can cook too, man?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
My wife can cook too, man, but I'm lazy, and so we do a little bit. We stay at home on Christmas because I ain't told no gifts nowhere.
Oh yeah. And see, we just started doing the last few years, and I think mainly, my dad's been gone 14 years, but it's been mainly, he would want to do traditional on Christmas and Thanksgiving. So we kind of do like, we may do lasagna, and my sister may do some fish or grill. So we do whatever now.
I'm a dressing hound, so if y'all make dressing, just put something to the side, and I come stupid.
Let me tell you something. I don't even be wanting meat. Give me the carby side. That's all I want: macaroni, potato salad, and dressing. That's it. I don't want cranberry sauce. You don't have to give me anything else. And I'd be like, "Can I have some more macaroni?" That's all I want.
Yeah.
I get a little meat and Nova loved your turkey, Jamie. I made her some rice for Thanksgiving and chopped up some turkey. Oh, she
loved it.
She's like, "Can we eat this every day?" But I'm going to pick up her pet food from PetSmart after the show. Do you prefer A Christmas Story or National Lampoon Christmas Vacation?
Oh man, that's hard.
They're both my favorites in the world. I love both of them.
I'm gonna have to go to Christmas Story only because
you gotta pick your eye out.
Yeah. I couldn't yet. I love
it. Have you seen the new one?
No, I saw that it was a new one. How is it?
Yeah, I see the new one. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I gotta check it out.
Yeah.
I love both of them, but I'm a National Lampoon Christmas. First of all, I'm a Chevy Chase fan, and I love all the National Lampoons with him and the Griswolds. I love that one when the cat caught on fire and the grandma said, "I pledge allegiance to," all of that. That whole, when the squirrel came out the tree and it was on his back. That's my favorite movie, Christmas movie. Do you prefer This Christmas by Donny Hathaway or Chris Brown? I mean, I know the answer, but
Donny. Yeah. Donny.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, now Chris does a very great rendition, but definitely that's for the kids. Will you guys be watching bowl games on Christmas or NBA games?
NBA, actually. That's the only day I'll cheat on football season is Christmas Day.
Yeah, I mean, it do be great NBA games on, but I don't know. I have to go back to like what we did as a family, and it was always football on in my house. So You know,
And see,
I do
we were the opposite. We watched NBA because I mean, you know, especially growing up, Michael Jordan, you know, the Bulls and the Lake, all they was like Detroit. They was hot back then, like for real hot. So yeah.
I really don't start NBA until after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, it's 82 games. I mean, you got 40 left.
Yeah, 40 left.
Pre-lit tree. You prefer pre-lit trees or put lights on your trees? Physically put lights on them.
I'm a techie, so I'm gonna tell you, pre-lit with the LEDs, 1200 count, gotta be sequenced in where you can do all the different twinkling, flashing, firefly, color changing. Oh yeah, you know us.
Got a pre-lit tree, but it's not doing that. It's still my lights are, and I meant to get the one with the white lights, but I got the colored lights because I'm trying to match my decor, and I'm still gonna use it because I can't take it back. So
I got a pre-lit tree that don't pre-light no more, so I had to put lights on there anyway. How about that?
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I need that tree you talking about. So when you throw it out and get the next one, I'm gonna come get yours.
Look, hey, it's got voice prompts on it, and look, you can make beats too, man. We do it all here.
Jameion, Lord, if I had known, I would have just got you to go with me.
You know, we high tech.
I should have known. Last but not least, this is from our kitty days. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer or Frosty the Snowman? Now remember, Frosty had heat miser.
Yeah.
I'm Mr. Heat Miser. I'm Mr. Sun. Remember that.
Hey,
I gotta go Rudolph.
Yeah, I gotta go Rudolph.
I gotta go Rudolph.
Yeah.
You gotta go Rudolph.
I gotta go Rudolph.
Say it, Rudolph?
Yeah, gotta go with Rudolph. Yeah.
I'm going with Rudolph too, but me and my sister used to sing Heat Miser, baby. That was our stuff.
That's probably why I didn't pick it, because I can't sing.
I love Frosty. Well, guys, as always, it has been a pleasure having you on the show. And you can also check me out, guys, on Facebook at She Say Sports, on Instagram at She Say Sports 23, and Twitter. I really don't do Twitter. I don't even know why I say it. And I need to do it though. At what is it? She say 23 on Twitter. And please subscribe to our YouTube page, She Say Sports. Well, until next time, this is Sonia, Jameion, and Ced with She Say Sports. Bye. Jackson said to be the winners next time I talk to y'all.
Celebration Bowl.
You're so